Alright guys, good afternoon. Welcome to your workout of the week. Happy June. It's getting warmer outside. Probably not as warm as here in Vegas, but it's getting hot. So, one of the requests that we had today was for an ab workout, and although I don't do workouts normally segmenting one aspect, with today's workout you can take these exercises and put it into other routines. Maybe it'll be some fresh ideas for some abdomen activity. Normally with the workouts I've given you before, abs are built into it because you're using your stomach to stabilize it with pretty much almost every exercise, including walking. So, but today I'm going to show you some different ways you can put in some static holds with some new movements. You can start putting them together so you're transferring from one to the other, so there's not all this lag time in between. So, I'm going to start with one of my favorites, planking. There's going to be a lot of planking today. The reason I enjoy planking so much is to stabilize environment for your abdomen. So if you have an injury, neck, back, you're not putting negative pressure or using your hip flexors to bring your body up. You want to focus the energy and the attention on the stomach. That's what we're using to strengthen everything. So, what we're going to start with is a forearm plank. All you're doing for a forearm plank, forearms on the ground, preferably at a surface. Your head is over your hands. You'll notice when I'm doing this, I do have a slight, almost like a hill in my back. The reason I don't have it straight for this exercise is because as some of you fatigue, it's going to shift the pressure right to your lumbar. I'm building this in as a safety precaution. Make sure you're focusing the pressure on your abdomen, but if you slag a little bit, you then know you're dipping the exercises over. Normally for these exercises, I would say timing it for static holds. So I have to do 15 of these. We're shooting for anywhere from 30 seconds up. I'm not saying do a 10-minute plank. Now we're getting ridiculous. As this gets easier, we can make them progressively more difficult. So we're starting off with a very simple forearm plank. Head is over my hands. My spine is aligned. And there's pressure on my abdomen. From here, we're going to show you another plank, still bringing the abdomen into play, focusing more on the obliques. And there's a way to modify this movement if you have problems, you're unbalanced. So we're going to start with the modified version. Just a side plank. We're on our forearm. Our bottom leg is straight. Our other leg, we're pushing through the heel. So my foot's not off here, so I'm putting negative pressure on the knee. It's tilted like this. From this position, we're simply lifting up. My spine is aligned, my head's in the air. We're not doing pulses to where it's coming back down and up. We're simply holding this up and keeping the tension on your side. All right? Your foot and your forearm are where the pressure is. We're not putting it onto the elbow. It's staying on the forearm. This is keeping good body alignment so we're not straining our neck. We're not looking up like this. My spine is stabilized. The pressure is on the oblique. All right? This is the easier version of this. For this one, once again, you might not be able to hold it for as long, so just do small intervals. Remember, you have two sides, so whatever you do on one side, you then have to duplicate on the other one. All right, same thing, you'll notice. Toes are pointing towards you. I'm putting pressure through the heel and the forearm. My hand is simply up rather than here, so I'm not tilting my spine like so. All right, so when you're doing time for this one, if you're giving yourself 15 seconds on one side, make sure you're doing the same thing on the other, okay? From this position, we're going to do a modified Turkish get-up. So we're not going to do complete motion today. One knee is bent, one leg is straight. Okay, the leg that's straight, I'm going to use that arm to help bring my body up. I'm not turning this into a movement where I'm shooting up through my hips. So my free arm is just going to stay straight. I'm using my elbow to my forearm to my hand. I'm just simply coming up to here, and then I'm going backwards down to the ground. And notice I'm not plummeting back down to the earth. We want to do this nice and controlled. Right? So use your body control. As you get better at this, we will make it more advanced for you. For the time being, start here. Make sure there's good positioning. Go at your own pace. Don't try to shoot up into that. All right? Whatever you do on the one side, you do on the other. From here, another plank. As we're getting more advanced, like I said, you can pick and choose the exercises that you like from this ab routine. We're going into a straight arm plank, similar to the forearm plank, but my arms are straight. All right, this is replicating a push-up position. So your body should be diagonal. Your head is the highest part. Your butt is not in the air like this. This is not a straight arm plank. This is. Once again, you're focusing tension onto the stomach. All right? So make sure your spine's not tilting up or down. You're not tucking your chin in. You're not trying to look up at the sky. Keep a neutral spine for this. Okay? And you're just going to hold that once again. we can start blending these, and at the end of this I'll put some of these exercises together to see how you guys can do this. A more advanced side plank, rather than having the foot on top, if that is too easy for you, you can now stack your legs. So as you come up, once again, there's still a lot more pressure here. So if this is too advanced, try the one first modified, then you can go into this. All right? As you start to progress, when you're doing something more difficult, we can slowly start going backwards. You can go from harder to easier. I'd rather you do that when you actually have the exercise where you're stressing movement, not time. I don't want you to get hurt. You can still get hurt doing ab work. Okay? Last plank of the day. We're going to do a Spetsnaz, or Special Forces plank. All we're doing for this in the straight arm position, my arms are separated, my legs are separated. Opposite arm, opposite leg comes up, and you're holding it. Okay? Then you can switch, holding it. You're keeping pressure on the abdomen, plus there's balance involved. If you have wrist issues, you can use small little bars to help you so there's not the flexion of the wrist and you're causing damage. So whatever it is, straight arm, any of those positions, if you have wrist issues, make sure you're not doing wrist flexions. You can use small handles, you can do fists, whatever's going to be more comfortable for you. Now putting some of these movements together so it kind of flows nicely, this can be built into a workout, it can be done separately, it's based on you. I would suggest putting these into a workout. So pick and choose your favorite ones, you can intertwine them. So, we'll start with stack side plank, all right? I'm starting here. I'm going to hold this for a few seconds as long as I can. As I start to fail, I'll bring the foot down. I'm going right into a modified side plank. So I can hold it for a little bit longer. Now from here, rather than start to do the opposite side, let's start to now blend these. So the transfer from this, since my one forearm is down, the other one can join it, and now I'm in a forearm plank. All right, same thing. Nice and control from here. I'm holding this for a few seconds. Now, if you're keeping track of time, you're then now switching into the opposite side. So what this is doing is preventing all of these time lapses. From here, I collapse down. There is my straight arm, partial Turkish. And then I can duplicate on the other side. So that is just an example of how you can start putting these together. It doesn't mean you have to do all the exercises that we went over at one time. You can do one, you can do two, you can start pairing them off. All right? Play around with it. Let me know any questions you have.